I think moving forward with their kid as a friend and then using that as building blocks to, gain actual trust with the kid, because obviously it's a big change for both the step parent, sorry, and the kid. So just having, that friendship between the two and then moving forward with extras would really help start that bond, I find.
Welcome to episode 276 of the Nacho Kids Podcast.
Man, do we have a show in store for you?
You gonna tell them about it, David?
No, I'm not.
Well, before we get to those details, we have a few announcements to make. Today is the last day of the Step Family Summit. Registration for our guided Change Your Stinking Thinking Challenge starts September the 18th.
Okay.
To register, go to nachokids.com/think, THINK.
Yeah, not thank.
And we are still taking entries for the podcast review drawing. Between now and the end of September, leave a podcast review, take a screenshot of it, email it to us at contactus@nachokids.com to be entered to win a $100 gift card from us. Amazon gift card.
Oh, it's important to also point out that the Change Your Stinking Thinking Guided Challenge is limited to 20 people. So,
and registration ends September 25th.
Yep. So it's not open to just everybody. First 20 get in because it is a very intimate group, because there's a lot of coaching calls that happen week to week. So can't have a whole bunch of people in there.
Yeah, there's 4 group calls, daily email link to information and your lesson and your task for that day for 30 days. All right. What else? I'm forgetting something. Oh, we're going to be in Denver, Colorado.
That's right. Coming up quick.
September 24th. If you would like to do a small meet and greet with myself and David, you need to email me and let me know by September the 18th.
Yep. So we know whether or not to get a small table or a large table.
Yes. All right. So Denver will be there September the 24th, 6:00 p.m., somewhere in the downtown area. We'll let you know. But if you want to go, you need to let us know. And again, email us before September the 18th.
And if you live in Denver and you want to recommend a place we can go, you can do that too.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget the Nacho Kids Academy. We're seeing a pretty big uptick in people joining right now, which I think is because back to school's happening. And everybody needs to figure out how to navigate all the craziness that's going on and to improve their sanity and their blend. So lots of information and tools in there to help that. And then right after all this craziness, as we've talked about before, we're entering right into the holiday season, which is very difficult and challenging. So now is definitely the time to get in, hone your skills, and put them to use quickly.
That's right. And don't forget, there are changes coming to the Academy in November. At the end of November, we will be changing the structure of the Academy, as well as to platform accesses and all that happy stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Lots going on.
Ooh. All right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Our guest today is a stepmom and a stepkid,
Yep.
Joe and Will.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a pretty good podcast.
Yes, it is.
It goes to show that the stepkids can look at you as a motherly figure.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to get there by not doing it at first.
Yep.
Some people never get there. Some people never want to get there. But in this situation, the stepmom is willing to be the motherly figure, and the stepkid loves her like his mom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we asked some pretty pointy questions because I want to get it straight from the kid's mouth. Now, kid's what, 16? So we say kid, but like 2 years away from being an adult. But I want to hear their feedback because it is very enlightening when you just ask the question, what is it that you want out of the relationship and how do you see it playing out if these certain steps were taken?
Mm-hmm.
And you get that straight from somebody who's a teenager because it's, we talk all the time about let the stepkid lead the relationship. And then we ask those types of questions. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? And I'm not talking about the adult because, in some cases, it doesn't matter if you agree or you don't agree. What matters is it working?
Right. And two, I want to clarify when I said that he loves her like his mom. He loves her like he wants to be able to love his mom.
Mm. Yep.
I think that might be a better way to phrase that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because mom's got some challenges.
Mom's got some challenges. Not saying he doesn't love mom.
No, I think he does.
He just needs mom to be mom. But thankfully, he has Joe.
Yep. All right. So let's get into this interview with it's me and you both talking to both of them. So
I know, surprisingly.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Today we have stepmom Joe and stepson Will. Hey y'all, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Wow. So Will, you are the stepson to Joe. Is that right?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So we won't put you on the spot, but is Joe like a cool stepmom?
Yeah. From what I've heard from my friends, none of their experience is as good as mine. So I think she's a pretty good stepmom.
Okay. So all your friends are like, wish my stepmom was that cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. That's not a bad place to be in, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So how old were you, Will, when Joe came into your life? Do you remember?
Officially, I was about 12, I think.
Yeah, you were 12.
Okay.
Yeah. So a little before I was a teen.
Okay. And do you remember how you felt about your dad and Joe? What are you laughing for, Joe?
How much am I allowed to say here, Joe?
Anything you want.
Okay. So first impressions was a bit amusing for me because I had actually fallen out of bed one night and it turned out Dad had Joe over. And I went to go grab the cat because I was sad because I fell out of bed. And there was a strange woman in my house. I was like, oh, okay, hello. And then I went back to bed. Yeah, so first impressions was a bit
Awkward.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe, I'm just wondering, did you think, wow, he acts like this happens all the time. Maybe I need to have a conversation.
It was my first time being over because I'd met Ben. It was then 11 and I'd met him at 2. And
The same day, right?
Yeah, same day.
I remember that. I'm starting to remember bits and pieces.
Yeah. Ben and I did a podcast 3 or 4 months ago and rehashed the entire story. And I hear this bang and I'm like, oh, there's a kid. And then your brother came out as well.
Did he?
Yeah, both of you came out, and then you both reported to your mum that I'd been over, and we got into so much trouble.
Will's like, get up, there's some strange woman in the house.
Will, do you remember telling your mom that Joe was there?
Not particularly. I do remember Patrick, my little brother, ratting Dad out, though. I heard that whole ordeal.
Okay, so we're going to blame Patrick because he's not here.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So that is interesting, though, that something that Joe remembers so vividly, you don't, which we see that often where stepkids don't remember things that we think are just like super important and impressionist. What's the word?
Impressionable?
Yeah, impressionable. like make a huge impact. Like you're going to ruin their life if they go through this. And you're like, I don't even remember.
Yeah. So how old were you, Will, when your parents split up?
Would have been 10? No, 9, I think.
That 9.
Yeah, I think I was 9 because I was in grade 3 at the time.
So it had been a little while since your mom and dad had split up.
Yeah, it had been.
Was your mom in a new relationship?
No.
No. Is she in a new relationship now?
No.
So you have nothing to compare, like, well, let me change I was going to say you don't have a stepdad to compare it to, but.
You didn't fall out of bed at your mom's house and find somebody.
No, I didn't.
So when you first met Joe, it was awkward, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you remember
in his underwear?
And I know that it might be hard for you to remember some of the stuff, but your memory's a lot better, or your mind's a lot younger than ours, so maybe you can remember. But do you remember how you felt about her becoming a part of your family? Like, oh, great, my dad's, going to end up with Joe, or it just didn't faze you? How did you feel about that?
I mean, it just didn't really faze me because, it went from meeting this person after I fell out of bed briefly.
Till that Saturday you got married.
And then to that having gone to actually having like a proper mother figure was a pretty good thing to help the transition between it all. Because for me, it didn't faze me all that much. It was a bit to get adjusted to, obviously, going between the two houses.
Mm-hmm.
And then now being here full time, that was a big adjustment.
Mm.
But it was really nice to have somebody that cooked for me on the weekends and actually gave me home cooked meals, so made with love rather than just frozen meals from my actual mother.
Okay, we don't mean to laugh. Let me tell you why we're laughing. So my son, I took him for a checkup when he was, I don't know, 10, maybe a little bit younger. But anyway, the doctor's like, how are you doing? Whatever. And he asked me, he's like, eating okay? I was like, yeah. And he said, she feeds me high sodium frozen meals all the time. And I'm concerned for my health. And the doctor's like, you're lucky she's feeding you at all.
Yeah. So, when you compare that to a good loving caring meal, I'm like,
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So did Joe come in as far as the motherly figure, not just cooking and things like that, but what about discipline wise? Did she come in and say, Will, get off that game? I'm going to smack you upside the head if you're on it again.
She's, quite honestly, the amount of times I've been yelled at is going to be less than, maybe 2, I reckon. Maybe twice I was up late being loud while playing video games, but I've never been really yelled at. It's just more gentle, what's the word? Encouragement, like to do the right thing. But she's very...
In my head, I'm just picturing her with some type of weapon and encouraging you to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Weapons like turning off the internet or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, oh, we just lost internet. I don't know how that happened.
And did that bother you? Because did you think she's not my parent to be telling me this stuff?
No, I didn't mind it actually. It was a bit strange to have like an authority figure, keep me in check. But I feel like that sort of thing is really necessary to a person's development rather than just like a negative on someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
So
I looked at the grand scheme of things rather than it just in the moment.
So were you not getting that feedback from your parents? Like that figure that could tell you what to do and lead you and guide you? Were you not getting that from your parents?
I wasn't getting it from my mother, which I was living with most of the time. So I was only living with Dad and Joe every second weekend.
Right.
Okay.
At that point. And, having a mother that's essentially absent and, not giving any input whatsoever, it's a big change to go from.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I was at Dad's house, Dad always kept me in check, and I was doing a few chores every now and then.
Okay. The reason I ask it that way is we often see, and it happened with us, that when the kids are having to go back and forth, there's often this thing that we call guilty parent syndrome. And so, for example, for me, I was a fairly strict dad until after the divorce. And then it was like, I don't want to make my kids' life any harder. I don't want
to upset them so they don't come back.
Yeah, I don't want them to have, to tell me they're going to stay with their mom and not come back or something like that. And so I changed my parenting style, and it became one that wasn't healthy because I'm not expecting anything from my kids, and they're just kind of, hey, this is playtime, and that's just kind of what I fell into. And then I now know that it happens more times than it doesn't. And so that's why I ask it that way, is we often see that where the parent that would have been highly disciplined with you tends to not be, because you're going through things and they feel kind of guilty because of that.
Yeah. I've definitely noticed that with how Dad and Joe had parented me, because my circumstances at my mother's house, it was more of a holiday to have a cooked meal, time with dogs, really just enjoy the 2 days that I had of just relaxing. So I feel like my circumstances were a little bit different with that, but it certainly does align.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean it was relaxing when you were with Joe and your dad?
Yeah, because it was treated as more of a holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was so infrequent.
Because it was so infrequent and relaxing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have much to do, because everything was a bit more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And things were being done for me rather than me doing it myself.
So when you increase the amount of time you're staying there, because right now you're staying there, what, full time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is it now that you're there all the time? How has that shifted?
I have a few responsibilities around cleaning up the kitchen before and after dinner. And that's just pretty much as needed. And also when the dishwasher's clean, I do that. But I'm also responsible for my own washing and getting that in order. But it was a large change for me to go from no chores to doing some chores and not knowing, where everything went, I guess, in a sense.
So no resentment around that, doesn't sound like. So you're not like, oh man, now I got to do these chores, stinks.
No, there's no resentment with it. I don't really mind it. Some afternoons I can be a bit tired and not want to do it, but I still do it anyway.
Right.
So at your mom's, was it more of just you had no guidance and no authority and no responsibility?
The problem was
that you were on your own there?
I did feel like I was on my own, but half the problem was that I had too much responsibility. So I wasn't faced by doing everything in the house.
Oh, okay.
So when I got here, I'm sure Jo can recall, she asked what would be adequate responsibilities for me to deal with in the house. And I listed off all the chores in the house, and I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, he did. It happened really, really quickly. We received a message from Will at just after school, and it was basically just I don't know what to do, I'm so overwhelmed. And we sort of read between the lines, and there was a lot of depression and stuff going on that we hadn't been told. And I got the message. I heard the message beep, but I couldn't like read the message because I was driving. So I rang Ben and said, "What's this message that's come through from Will? It looks important." And he read it out to me, and I said, "Right, tell him to pack enough clothes for a week," because every time we tried to get him more than every other weekend, there was always a bit of a fight. And I said, "Tell him he's coming for a week." And by that stage, I'd already decided he was not going back. So when he arrived,
I think by the second or third day, I decided that I wasn't going back.
no, you decided day one.
I was being modest.
And so I sat him down and said, since there's going to be 3 of us living here for a week, what do you think you could do chore-wise? What do you think is a good responsibility? What do you feel like? And he listed off every chore in the house. And I went, no. I said, I am in charge of this house. You are not doing everything. I said, let's start with the dishwasher and giving me your clothes when they need a wash, and we'll go from there. And then when Patrick was in bed, we sat down with Will and said, what do you want to do in terms of staying here versus going to your mother's? And Will just went, I want to stay here. And we went, yep, fine. That's what, he was, what were you, 14, 15? 15.
15, yeah.
You're 15. You're old enough to make a choice. And we just
moved. This happened within the last year.
Happened about a year ago in March.
Okay.
I keep which day in my calendar and I celebrate it.
Yeah. What day? March what?
March 27.
Oh.
So where is Patrick still going back and forth, or is he there too?
He's still going back and forth between houses at the minute.
So how has that affected your relationship with him?
It hasn't really. If anything, he's developing more of his own personality rather than just, copy and pasting my own. So it's a bit easier to talk to him as a person and hear about his day rather than just hear him give mum my smart ass answers.
Is he younger?
Yeah, he's 10.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I was a good bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years younger than me.
Yeah. My sisters and I were 5 years apart, and it's funny, as a young child, that age gap seemed huge. When you get older, I think you get closer a lot of times because that age gap doesn't seem so big.
Yeah.
I was learning to play Monopoly and she was dating half the neighborhood. So.
Well, that makes her sound bad.
I'm kidding.
Good grief.
Yeah. So did you have to change schools and stuff, Will, or?
No, I'm still going to my original high school that I was going to when I was with my mum. It's a bit further away. So sometimes it's a bit of a pain, but we make it work, and I like that school.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we had a conversation about, do we change his school? And we thought that he's already had so much happen at his mum's house, and then we didn't want to change him halfway through year 9, and he was already, he was struggling with school and had a few good friends, but not really.
Yeah, you didn't want him to start over.
We didn't want him to have to start over. And so it's 25 minutes to the school, and then I'm 40 minutes to work. So we get up at 6:30 in the morning to get to school and work.
Okay.
And we make it work. It's sometimes we're all a bit grumpy in the morning, but we make it work, because that was kind of the trade-off, was either we've got a high school that's walking distance from home, and we were like, you could either go to that school or there'll be some travel involved, and we'll prefer the travel and staying at his high school.
Yeah.
And we went, that's fine.
So here in the States, you're kind of made to go to a high school based on where you live. Is that not the case where you guys are?
It is, but his high school is a bit more lax around that, and they took into consideration our circumstances of living 25 minutes away.
Gotcha.
And we were also a little underhand about it, and we didn't play it off as a big thing when we changed his address. We just went,
Yeah, we won't tell nobody. Nobody will hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We were like, we'll slide it in and see if they say anything, and they didn't say anything. So Will stayed at the high school he's at, and he's doing amazingly well now. He's flourishing. Yeah, he's
solid B now.
Solid. Are you getting A's in computing?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
How'd you forget about your A's, man? That's good.
He's like, because I hacked the system to change my grade.
Are you giving me ideas now, David?
I'm not supposed to remember that I did that.
So, Will, do you go to your mom's at all?
Not anymore, no.
Not anymore, no.
Minimum contact.
Okay. And how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that? Is that kind of your lead? Like you're taking the lead on that of I'll talk to you when I want to talk to you, mom, kind of thing, or?
Yeah, it's definitely when I want to talk to her, but I don't really ever want to. So for me, it doesn't trouble me a lot. And since I already have a mother figure, it doesn't really bother me that I'm missing the one that's worse. So
Yeah. That makes me sad, kind of.
Yeah.
Does it make you sad?
Used to.
Used to?
Yeah.
What changed to where it doesn't make you feel sad anymore? Is it because it's more of just a reality?
Do you mean reality in the sense that it's happening? Like
it's out of your control kind of thing.
I think it's in my control, but what isn't, and what is the part that hurts, is my actual mother not changing who she is and becoming a better person for me. That's the part that hurts.
Yeah. She has to want to do it for herself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully she will. Yeah. I remember when my sister, she told me one day, I gave her some new jeans and all this stuff. We had helped her find a better place to live. And she said, you want better for me than I've ever wanted for myself. And I think with your mom, maybe that's how it is you want more for her and better for her than she may want for herself. So, well, I'm sorry that things aren't better on the mom front, but you do have awesome stepmom Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe loves you dearly. We know that. And, there were some challenges for all of y'all with you coming in. But I think Joe did really good reaching out to find resources about when you were going to be there full time. Like, what should I expect? What's going to change kind of thing. So Joe's a little super lady there.
Yeah, she's certainly done her research.
Yes.
Yeah, I read about 5 parenting books within a week when you first came to live with us full time.
Yeah, it's like, he's coming to live with us full time. Go by the library. She's in the parking lot, speed reading. Yeah. Because she knew that it would be a change for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it might be a good thing for your little brother.
Yeah.
We think it has been. He was originally, like Will said, he was just copying Will's personality. But now that they've had that distance, Patrick's been able to kind of come into his own as, a little human being, as opposed to just being Will's copy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My mum always said that Will was Patrick's North Star.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Will, you were talking about when we asked if Joe was a good stepmom, and you're like, well, according to my friends, yeah. So have you heard some horror stories about evil stepmoms?
I've heard some things that maybe weren't so positive, but it just really depends on the kid's relationship with the parent rather than the stepmom themselves, unless they're just a terrible person. But, my friend's horror story about him having to do more chores than usual, I don't think I'd really call that one a horror story.
Oh, but to some kids, to most kids, that would be a horror story. Like, that's the end of the world. So you're a gem, Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Will, what would you say for, let's say a stepmom has just recently entered into the relationship? What do you think is the best way for them to approach that new role with the stepkid?
I think moving forward with their kid as a friend and then using that as building blocks to, gain actual trust with the kid, because obviously it's a big change for both the step parent, and the kid. So just having, that friendship between the two and then moving forward with extras would really help start that bond, I find.
Who would you say is the most important to allow to lead the relationship? Is it more important for the step kid to kind of lead and determine where that goes, or the step parent?
I think it's equal responsibility because the stepchild really has to accept this new person in their life. And that's up to the kid to decide whether it's, a just change for them or not.
Right.
And for family dynamics, that can look like anything. But the parent also has to acknowledge that, this kid is now in their life. And it's also part of their responsibility as the partner to their biological parent to take care when they can, if they can, or if they're asked to, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Now, hypothetically, say when Joe came in, she was just mean. Just mean. She was just grumpy all the time. You came in and she's like, take your shoes off. Or, you were okay with the chores. So we're not going to talk about the chores. But, just say that she was like a tyrant. She was just always on your butt. Don't put your feet on the couch. Don't put your feet on the coffee table. Your feet stink. Spray them with Febreze. All this stuff. What if she would have been that way? Hypothetically, what do you think your relationship with Joe would be like now?
I think it wouldn't be as good as it is now, because that first impression really does matter with a kid, because it's some of their first memories that you have of that specific person. So whatever you remember first is how you're going to remember them for quite some time. Like Joe, Patrick, Dad and I all went to a mini golfing place close to where Dad lives. And I remember she gave us little Mars bar lollies from a pack. And we had that. And then that was one of my first actual official memories of meeting her.
Did you say a Mars bar?
Yeah, Mars bar.
Like a candy bar?
You don't know what a Mars bar is?
Yeah. Like the little chocolates.
Yeah, and they've got nougat and almonds.
Yeah.
In them.
That's Snickers.
Yeah,
Mars bar is
Snickers.
just caramel, nougat, and chocolate wrapped in
You don't know what a
chocolate.
Mars bar is?
I do, but we don't have them anymore. You can't find them here anymore. I love them.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
We don't have Mars
I love
bars?
them. No.
Okay.
No.
You guys are missing out then.
Man, I'm telling you, I love Mars bars. They're not the same as Snickers. Mars bars are so much better than Snickers.
I didn't know we didn't have
They're more
that.
nougaty. Nuggety.
It's because they put the full almond in there.
Yeah, it did have it. Does y'all's have the almond in it?
Nope.
The nuts? No nuts?
The Snickers
No.
has the nuts in them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have like little bits
Little
of nuts in them.
peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we remember
Our
it
Snickers
was?
are that way. But no, Mars had the almonds.
Okay.
Mars had almonds in them. Ours Mars had
Ours Mars?
our Mars had almonds. Yeah.
Huh.
Now they have Snickers with almonds too, but
Yeah. And then almond joy. But yeah, I thought Mars.
I don't know. We'll have to look.
Now I'm feel like I'm confused. I like payday bars.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
got-
y'all have payday bars?
We have payday.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
don't know what payday bar.
No, we don't have payday bars.
Oh.
We just have payday when you get paid from work.
It's a
I like that day.
it's a nougaty type thing, but it's like dipped in caramel. So it's got caramel all around all the sides of it. And then it's got peanuts stuck to the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't have that.
It's like have you ever had a pecan roll or a pecan roll?
Or you talking about a pecan log?
Pecan
Log.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. Pecan logs are even better. They're just
We're gonna have to send y'all some stuff.
we are. I'm gonna need your address. I have to figure out time wise because right now it's cool where you are, right?
It's starting to warm
It's
up.
starting to warm up.
So we
We've hit
better
second
hurry.
spring.
Yeah.
We got to hit that time frame that we get you. We don't want to send you melted chocolate.
Yeah, it's like in the mid 90s here. Fahrenheit. I guess y'all do Celsius.
I was going to say, if it's 90
We're the
degrees
only-
Celsius, you're in trouble.
We're the only
we're-
people.
We're the only people.
Yeah. Aren't we the only people to do Fahrenheit anymore?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I think there's 3 countries total, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Or
You're
it's less.
better than us because we couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So United States, California. 2 countries.
Yeah, I love talking about the differences in food. Have you ever been to the States, Will or Joe?
No.
No, I haven't.
My sisters and my parents have. They went to Chicago and New York, I think.
Oh,
My dad travels frequently to the States for work.
Okay.
You need to go with him. You and Will. Come hang out in South Carolina.
Yeah. So what, are you near the Gold Coast?
We're a lot further south of the Gold Coast. We're in Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay.
Oh, where is that in relation to Bondi Beach?
That's south.
That's Sydney. Bondi Beach is Sydney.
We're down south.
We're in Victoria.
Yeah, we're in the little state above the little island that no one really likes.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it there?
Oh, it's lovely.
It's a really nice place.
We just like to pick on it.
Oh.
It's like that little sibling.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Like Alabama.
Alabama.
Was that Ben?
Yeah.
Ben has arisen.
Oh boy.
What's up, Ben?
Howdy, hey. How are you two?
Good.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. You two look very well.
Thanks.
I appreciate that.
We're just talking to your kid about how awesome he is and how awesome Joe is and how your head feels better.
Yes.
I told them you had a hangover.
Sort of. I was just doom scrolling on the internet. But I need to make coffee.
Oh, I got to clear my throat. Hang on. All right. So, Will, thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast because we rarely get stepkids on here other than mine. I was going to say my own or ours, but they're mine. And it's important for us to know the perspective of the stepkid because I know when David and we went through a very, very hard time. And I actually did not even pay attention to what the stepkids might have been going through because I was dealing with my own pain. And it stinks having to go back and forth between two homes. And even if they're both good, it still stinks to have to go back and forth between two homes.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I hope things get better with your mom. We hope she gets better for herself and mainly for you.
Yeah. We all hope that.
Yeah.
Yep. Get her a Mars bar.
It'd be good for you to have 3 parents that love you and like an actual both biological parents loving you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of the ring-in.
It'd be nice.
And just think, she can still feed you frozen meals, but you're still getting the home cooked meals with Joe.
Yeah. It'd be like my life.
What are you talking about? Who gives you the home cooked meals?
That's exactly right. The restaurant.
Your mama. Yeah. He goes to his mama's to get home cooked meals. I hate cooking. I hate cooking. Yeah.
Cooking's my self-care activity.
Yeah. Lori makes a mean bowl of cereal.
I do. All right. So thanks again. And we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, David. I usually say that at the beginning, so don't get confused.
Yep.
We are working on some new things for y'all. Working very hard. Poor David. I've got him staying up late working.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget, if you want help changing your stinking thinking, sign up between September the 18th and September the 25th for the guided Change Your Stinking Thinking Challenge.
Yep.
And you can find out more about that on nachokids.com/think.
That's right. And this will be the last guided challenge of 2024.
Yes, we think. Might have to add another one. We'll talk later about that, David. David's my IT person. He's like, no more. I need a break. All right.
All right, folks. Well, hope to catch you here again next week. And remember, life is good
When you nacho.